Welcome back. Week 11 college football and wide right CFB. We're getting you started with all of the action. So joining us today, Lindsey's on hiatus. He's got the smallpox or something. I don't know. Anyways, actually, I think he had something better than that. I'll let him explain next week when he's back. But joining us today, the pride of the Texas State Bobcats. He's my favorite football player, Hunter. What is going on? Doing pretty good there?
Just another day.
All right. We're waiting on Jude somewhere. Jude is stuck in the interwebs. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll with Hunter right now because, we stayed up a wee bit late talking on the phone last night for some reason.
Those
I don't know
CFP rankings were bullshit. I mean, Texas is obviously the best one-loss team in the country. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. All right. But that's not where we start our show every week. We start our show every week with the salute to these Service Academies. And Hunter has got one of the more popular service academies this year, the Naval Academy. And this week, Navy is traveling to South Florida to the Ray J at 11 a.m. on ESPN 2. Navy's favored by 2.5. Are the midshipmen going to get to fire the cannon on the pirate ship at the Ray J?
I don't think that. I think that's Buccaneers only.
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
they win, they should be able to at least fire it one time. They're the Navy.
Yeah.
Don't you agree? Like, it should be a foregone conclusion.
I would agree. I would agree. You figure that they get to fire the cannons. Playing there. This game's kind of hard to predict because I mean, is there gonna be another storm that keeps the team off the field for like 7 hours? Navy's been really mistake prone the last 2 weeks. I mean, just a ton of fumbles and failed drives. I think it's a little bit more attributable to the weather and stuff like that last week, but they still lost. I mean, Rice had to deal with the same things. So, how much is that fair criticism? You know, so it's going to be up to Navy to protect the football. USF can score at any point in any game, even with their quarterback situation the way it is. However, I think Navy wins this one just because USF really struggled to stop the run against FAU. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go with Navy in this one.
All right. The way this is going to work, I'm going to pick my games. Hunter's going to pick his, and then hopefully Jude will pop on here in a second and I can get his games. All right. So, talking about service academies, well, I'm going to start with my service academy, my first one I cover, and that's the Coast Guard Academy. And, they lost in a almost blowout fashion to WPI, and that's Worcester Polytechnical Institute. And WPI had a 24-point first half lead. The Bears really struggled with scoring, only hitting on touchdowns in the first and the third quarters. Although the yardage. I mean, like they matched WPI on every metric. WPI had 435 total yards. Coast Guard Academy had 404 pass yards. WPI had 255. Coast Guard had 222 rush yards. WPI had 180. Coast Guard had 182 penalties. WPI had 4 penalties for 52 yards. Coast Guard Academy had 7 for 65 yards. Right. The Coast Guard Academy just wasn't able to convert when they needed to. Their next game is this Saturday at noon Eastern time against SUNY Maritime. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry, I don't live there. And last year, SUNY Maritime defeated the Coast Guard Academy 24-21, but that was in their building. This time it's in the Coast Guard Academy's home field. I would look for a little bit closer game with the Coast Guard edging out SUNY Maritime. And that is the Coast Guard Academy. Now, for the other academy I cover, and that's the Army Academy, the United States Military Academy. I think that's what they call it. Maybe West
Yep.
Point, something like that. And Army won last week against Air Force 20-0. Now, here's the bummer. Bryson Daly didn't play, and the offense looked a little sluggish. But the good news is they have a guy named Kanye Udo, and this guy rushed for 158 yards on 22 carries with 2 touchdowns, and he looked good. He looked really good. He looks like a guy that could go from a service academy to an NFL team. I mean, he looks that good in my opinion. not having Daly, like I said, it showed up in the production, just didn't look as clean. This week they take on North Texas, and they're a 5-point favorite, but this game's going to go one of two ways. If Bryson Daly plays, I think they get in the groove pretty quick and they're able to score some points. If he's out, it's probably the 5 points will probably be a late differential. So that is our salute to the Service Academies. Thank you for everyone who has served, who is currently serving, or who plans to serve. We thank you. With that said, Hunter, we're moving on to our second favorite topic here: 5-star versus 1-star.
So for my 5-star performance last week, I'm going to go with Lenore Sellers. I mean, the dude was untackleable. A&M defenders are 230, 40-plus pounds, running full speed, bouncing off him like gnats off a cow's ass. I mean, it was impressive. Out of a true freshman to play like that, to have the poise and composure in an environment like that, in a big game like that, I thought Norris Sellers really showed up and had a big game for South Carolina. My 1-star performance is going to go to team that won, but I don't think that they really won by a lot, if you really think about it. I'm going to go with Georgia, and specifically Carson Beck. I mean, coming into the season, the guy was talked about as the number 1 overall pick, locked in, Heisman Trophy finalist, no doubt about it. And he has just filled the stat sheet on the wrong column with interceptions. He's thrown 3 interceptions in back-to-back games. I think he leads the SEC interceptions. And for a guy that was touted as a fundamentals, high floor, low ceiling, Mac Jones type quarterback, all he's shown is that, hey, I'm going to throw a ton of interceptions. If I don't have Brock Bowers and the other white wide receiver that Georgia used last year as an NFL now plays for the Chargers,
Lad McConkey. Aren't you glad they don't have Lad?
Little tired. Stayed up, arguing with the CFP poll. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, how about you? What is your 5-star and 1-star for the week?
Well, it's funny because we're related. So who do you think my 5-star was?
Shane Beamer saying What I Like About You or whatever it was by Fantasia.
It was a close second, okay? It was a close second.
Or When I Think About You
was also Lenore Sellers.
Okay.
He led the game to
a
24-point differential over the number 10 ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Now, my favorite play that Lenore Sellers had is when he basically was running downfield for a first down and he saw the defender out there, and rather than run out of bounds, he lowered his head like a battering ram and ran through him. And that right there got my 5-star performance of the night. Right there.
Yeah.
I jumped up and down. I cheered. My 1-star performance, man. I hate knocking on another team for a win, but Fresno State lost to Hawaii by a point in a game they should have won by 30 at home. It wasn't like they went to Hawaii.
Games are not easy.
Hey, you know what? So Hawaii wins this game, and Fresno State did not win the game. I was disappointed with Fresno State. That is my 1-star performance.
Should write it. I'm not gonna say it.
Yep. All right. We are going to move on to conference break. I am so tired right now. I might have to go to the kitchen and get some toothpicks to hold my eyelids open. Let's go over to conference breakdown. I'm not kidding. I really am.
Right there with you. Let's roll through this.
All right, hold on. Let me scratch over to what you're doing here. Looks like you're going to be covering the ACC, and let's see. Lindsay's out, so you're going to have to cover his conference for him. ACC, or as the Cajun Santa would say, the ACC. All right, Friday we have Cal at Wake. Cal is are they getting there on frequent flyer miles?
MX Gold Card, I guess.
I don't know. 7 p.m. on the ACC network. I'm not going to watch this game unless it's just on.
I mean, this game might be on. I can probably tell you right now that I will be asleep pretty early the next couple of days. Um,
I wonder why.
I'm gonna tell you that while Cal is favored by 7 points, I don't see it. I think Wake Forest is gonna win this game. I mean, it's Cal's second trip to North Carolina. It's their fourth trip to the East Coast. I mean, the travel is breaking them down. And while Cal is a good team and certainly has a great run game with J.D. Knott, they have a good quarterback there, Mendoza. I think Wake Forest is starting to figure it out with Hank Bachmeier. He's starting to understand the offense and really grasp it. Dave Clawson's offense, they're the slow mesh, and it's starting to really start to work in a way that we saw with Sam Hartman. Not necessarily to that level yet, but you can see it starting to click. I think unfortunately, I don't think Hank Bachmeier has any eligibility left after this year. I'm going to go with the Demon Deacons to win.
Sweet. Let's kind of speed it up here.
Okay. I'll go for my.
What about Syracuse at Boston College? Oh, that's in our ones to watch, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, did you put it in
did.
there?
It's on the other page. Look, I got.
Watch.
There's two sides to my sheet. See, you can see my method to my madness here.
We need the My Pillow guy to come give us some pillows and put this show to rest.
I'd be snoring. People would know that it sounds like a sawmill here.
Anyway, there's a good joke.
23 Clemson at Vatech.
I'm going to go with the Tigers. Look for a bounce back game, especially after the letdown against Louisville.
All right, Duke at NC State. Any other year this might be a competitive game. I don't think NC State's any good.
Yeah, I mean NC State, when they come up against a defense that isn't bad, usually loses this season. That quarterback injuries abound, all those different things. I like Duke in this one. I think Malik Murphy's really starting to get the offense clicking. They start to really hit a lot of those deep passes that what you brought him to do. So I think that we should continue to see that, and hopefully we start to kind of finish the season out with a Malik Murphy kind of hype for next year.
All right, Florida State at Notre Dame. This game should be good, but it is not going to be. Florida State is going to take another BTA here.
I mean, Notre Dame does everything Florida State really can't stop, even though Florida State can't stop anything. I expect Notre Dame to win by probably 30 or 40 points.
All right. And finally, in the ACC, Virginia at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh took a pretty good lumping last week.
This is going to be a closer game than I think people are giving it credit for. I mean, I think people think that, Pittsburgh's still, one of the best teams in the ACC, and they are, but they're really reliant on turnovers, and that isn't a replicatable thing. And you saw it against SMU, right? They just couldn't replicate the turnover margin. And so we'll have to see Cole Andreas turnover prone, but so is Jennings, and he played excellent ball against Pitt. So I think that Virginia could win this game. However, I am going to go with the Panthers in this one.
All right. On Thursday, that'd be as this show is airing, but it's tomorrow for us. Florida Atlantic travels to East Carolina at 7 p.m. I got ECU. I'm not picking ECU. They're not any good either. Both these teams this is the battle of the bads. This could make a game of the game of the week, a GOTW. This is not a good game. I'm going to lean the Owls in this game over the Pirates. On Friday, we have Rice traveling to Memphis. Now, Rice got a good win last week against Navy. They were fired up. They fired a coach the week before. They had all the ingredients in minute Rice to make it work. I think Rice travels to Memphis. Memphis is probably not as good as their record indicates. I think Memphis edges out Rice, but not by much. I would say it's a 9-point game right now. It's take like a 3-point game. On Saturday, Navy goes to South Florida. I think they right the ship, no pun intended. Navy sails away with a victory and maybe gets to fire the pirate cannon. At 1:30 on ESPN Plus, UConn travels to UAB. Now, UAB found some offense last week. This could be a fun game. UConn and UAB could be a fun game. This could be a unofficial one to watch. So check that one out. I'm going to lean UConn, the Husky, by just a tiny bit. All right, then I've already spoken about our number 25 Army at North Texas. So, what I would say on that game is look for Bryson Daly. If Bryson Daly doesn't play, the game's going to be a lot closer. If he plays, game will not be close. I think Army would stretch it out against North Texas. And then the afternoon capper there from Ullman Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. Temple travels to take on Tulane. Now, Tulane's a 26.5-point favorite. Tulane has every factor better than Temple. Everything they do is better. Better. Does that mean they're going to cover the 26.5 points? I don't know about that. I would say I would look for this. If there's weather, no. If it's going to rain, sprinkle, be kind of misty, something like that, no. Not going to cover. If the weather is nice and clear, Tulane's going to get out on top of Temple early and often. So look for the lumping to happen. Could be a belt to ass game. Just keep that in mind. All right, and that's going to wrap the American Conference. And the only reason they have a championship is because they have to have one. All right, Hunter, let's switch over to what's Lindsay's other conference? Is it the AAC and the ACC?
Yes, it's the American and the Atlantic.
I covered it last week, so that's why I'm kind of. All right, let's go to the Sun Belt.
Cool. All right, so Tuesday, November 7th, Thursday, November 7th, App State travels to Conway, South Carolina. Coastal Carolina. App State's favored by a full-on point here. I think App State may have found something. I think that what's gone on in North Carolina there with the hurricane has really helped the team unify and kind of play with a renewed vigor and focus. But I struggled to pick App State in this game. I'm going to go with the Chanticleers, but we may be seeing the end of Tim Beck as the coach in Coastal Carolina if it continues on the road that it's gone. The hot start has now been followed with a really steep decline.
All right, it's on Saturday at 11 a.m. on the U, the ESPN U. It's a team you might be familiar with just a tiny bit. The Texas State Bobcats take on the UL Monroe War Chickens from Malone Stadium in Monroe, Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean, Texas State, I think I went there for school for a little bit, only have a degree from there.
Did you swim in the river?
Yeah, actually I did.
Was it cold?
It's a spring-fed river, so yes.
Yeah.
Everyone from the state knows that it's a cold river. It's hard to pick Texas State here because they've kind of been a letdown. I think that they need to kind of make a change in quarterback position, not because of the lack of ability from Jordan McLeod, but more a look to the future with the way the season's gone. Texas State's favored in this by Vegas, and they're favored in the stats. But I'm going to go against them. I'm going to go with the Warhawks. I think that UL Monroe can run the ball and attack the middle of the field where Texas State just struggles to stop them.
All righty. At 2 p.m. on the ESPN Plus is from Eminem Roberts Stadium, Eminem in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Marshall takes on Southern Miss. Marshall's a 13.5 point fade
yeah, I think
here.
Marshall cover. Marshall's
by a lot.
Oh, yeah.
All right. At 2:30 p.m. on the ESPN Plus from Bridgeforth Stadium in Harrisonburg, Virginia. The Dukes host the Panthers. JMU is a 16.
Dukes by
JMU by a lot?
Yes.
By Country Mile Garage?
Oh, yes.
All right. And then finally in the afternoon capper, the Arkansas State Red Wolves. I'm telling you, I'm like, my brain
I'm going
is
to go
like
with the
mashed
Raging
potatoes.
Cajuns in this game. They're the home team. They are probably, without debate, the best team in the Sun Belt at this point. I'm going with the Raging Cajuns to cover this 15-point spread. Not exciting analysis, and that's not because I'm tired. It's just because I think that we're starting to really shake out in the Sun Belt who's who. And I think right now that Louisiana, they need to get a win here. They need to win big because they do have an outside shot at a playoff spot. So I expect them to really take it to Arkansas State. Arkansas State does. I think that since it's a home game, Louisiana is not going to suffer the penalty issues that they suffered in San Marcos.
All right, we're going to transfer over to Conference USA, the Conference of Champions. And the reason why they're champions is because they have to have a championship game. And for Conference USA, a little pat on the back. raise your right hand, right? Reach back and pat yourself on the back. You get to play all your games on a Saturday. Check that out for the first time in a month, I think. So on Saturday, we got Liberty playing at Middle Tennessee State. Liberty's been exposed for what they can't do. They can't stop the run, and they really struggle moving the ball down the field. The Blue Raiders aren't that great at doing anything. They're probably one of the bottom 7 teams in the country right now. I would say Middle Tennessee State probably goes down to Liberty around 7 points. Middle Tennessee probably covers. But it's a cool name for the stadium. It's Johnny Red Floyd Stadium in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
But they're blue.
Like, huh? I don't know. It's red because he was Irish.
Okay.
All right. At 3 p.m. from the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. You know anybody from El Paso, Texas, Hunter?
Actually, I do know a couple from El Paso, Texas.
No, I don't. Kennesaw State travels to take on UTEP, the Miners. The Miners have showed improvement. I don't know if they're going to win this game, but they got a decent shot of doing it to get their number 2 win of the season. The Miners are probably the best 1-win team in the nation right now, I think. And just by watching their body of work, we do watch a lot of Miner football, not because we're in the state of Texas. It's just available whenever we have time to watch. So I'm going to lean UTEP on this one over Kennesaw State. At 3:30 p.m. on the CBS Sports Network from Joe Allen Stadium in Ruston, Louisiana, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks take on the Louisiana Tech. Drawing a blank here. Bulldogs. I'm going to say the Gamecocks get the W here. I don't really see Louisiana Tech lost a stunner the other week, so I think they're going to be a little hungover. And plus, I don't like Sunday Cumbies, so that's an easy one there. And in the afternoon cap here, Western Kentucky at New Mexico State. Western Kentucky should win this one. Will they? I don't know. You never know. New Mexico State has shown moments where they looked really good, and then they're showing moments where they look really bad. I'm going to lean the Hilltoppers on this game. And that's the Conference of Champions Conference USA. On to, what are you going to do, the Big 12 next, Hunter?
Sure.
All right, we're going to go to the Big 12 is my conference. It's my big conference. All right, I'm going to jump out in front of Hunter here. All right, we have, I don't think this one made our ones to watch, West Virginia at Cincinnati. Now, normally this game would be against 2 decent teams. West Virginia is not good. Cincinnati is a lot better, but they're not as good as what they probably should be. I think Cincinnati's defense is way too strong for West Virginia. I think West Virginia is starting a different quarterback this week. I think Garrett Green is out. Am I correct on that one?
I would be not doing my due diligence if I said I knew. I think Garrett Green was out last week.
This game starts at 11 a.m. on Fox Sports 1. I look for Cincinnati to get the W by about 7 points. All right. At 2:30 p.m. on FS1, the number 17 Iowa State Cyclones take on the Kansas Jayhawks. Is it a rivalry game here?
Kind of. I don't think it has a name or anything, but it is happening in the Chiefs Stadium, which right now, according to most, is going to be mostly full of Iowa State fans.
Well, Iowa State took one on the chin against Tech last week. Tech definitely punched them down. All right, speaking of Tech, at 3 p.m. on Fox from Jones Stadium in Lubbock, Texas, the number 20 Colorado Buffaloes travel to take on the upset-minded Texas Tech Red Raiders. It's going to be a total Tech thing, huh?
Isn't this one to watch?
Is it really? Oh, it is. Oof. We're going to cover that one in a minute. Sorry, my bad. At 6 p.m. on ESPN2, from Mountain America Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, the UCF Golden Knights travel to take on the Arizona State Wildcats. UCF got a big win last week, but they're in their
Sun Devils.
What did I say?
Wildcats.
I'm telling you. I almost called UCF the Shitronauts.
That's what they played like.
Well, no, when they wear the Citronaut uniforms, they're undefeated. But when they wear their other uniforms, they're the Shitronauts. So Arizona State's favored by 3. I'm not picking Arizona State to lose this game. I'm going to go with the Scum Devils here. Joey Preciado's probably upset with me, but you know what? If he doesn't like it, he can come on the show and defend his position, right? We're all about equal opportunity here. All right, at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1 from Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas, the Oklahoma State Cowboys are an underdog versus the TCU Horned Frogs. Oklahoma State is a 10.5-point underdog. TCU is, I think they're going to beat Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State just doesn't do anything well. And when I say well, I mean
where the 18-year bull streak ends.
I think they're already out, aren't they?
They're 3-6.
Oh, well, maybe there's some magic in that hat. I don't know. If I lose this game, I'll be fine. But I'm going with the Horned Frogs here. All righty, and then the Holy War we're going to cover in the ones to watch, and that is the Big 12. And Hunter, tell me a little something about the SEC.
All those states. So Florida takes on Texas and Austin. Kind of hard to tell right now. Get a read on the game in terms of pick because is DJ Lagway playing? Is he not? I don't think we're going to know until kickoff, until the Florida offense takes the field, probably. I am going to go with the Horns. I don't really like picking this game, but it's a game that if you're Texas, you have to win. You can't lose to Florida.
Yep. All right.
Georgia
Mississippi State at Tennessee.
Mississippi State at Tennessee. Two veer and shoot teams. Usually when that happens, it actually kind of ends up whichever team is better at stopping the veer and shoot. However, Mississippi State's just not very good this year, so I think Tennessee's going to blow them out.
All right. And then finally, Oklahoma Missouri.
I think a lot of people have kind of counted Oklahoma dead. They haven't had a losing season since before in 1998. This is not the week they go to 5-5. I think that Oklahoma beats Missouri. I don't know it's Brady Cook. I don't know if there's a confirmation he's playing or not. Even if he is, I don't think it makes much of a difference. Oklahoma's defense is good enough that they can stop Missouri from doing most of what they want to do. And Oklahoma's offense should have enough success to pull out the win.
And that is the SEC and Hunter. Did we cover all the conferences that aren't attached to Jude? And
we sure did.
Okay. Well, if Jude pops in, we'll get his 10 cents here. If not, then maybe Jude can do a short or a smaller, shorter video and put it on as well. But I don't know where he is. Maybe he's out celebrating his CFP picks. I'm not sure.
USC announced that Jade Mayava is going to start this week. So
is he related to The Rock?
I don't think so. I have no idea.
Right.
He played at UNLV last year, transferred to USC. There's a lot of excitement about him. He didn't win the starting job over.
Hey, I heard some news today that a certain USC Trojan quarterback's son is going to
SMU. It's before everyone goes why isn't he going to USC? It's mostly a matter of play style and Cole Liner. It's like a 3-star. He is a high 3, maybe a 4-star. It just kind of depends.
All right, let's get into the ones to watch now. You ready to do some ones to watch?
Yeah.
All right. Number 10, Syracuse at Boston College, 11 a.m. on the CW Network. BC is favored by -2. So that means they're favored by 2.
It's going to kind of come down to which quarterback makes less mistakes. They're both very talented in different ways. One's more of a dual threat, and then Kyle McCord's a pretty good pure passer. I'm going to go with Syracuse in this one. I think a lot of people are counting them dead just because it's a couple of not great performances, but I like them to win this one.
I'm going to take BC, and I'm going to take BC by the 2 to 3 point area. All right, number 9, Minnesota at Rutgers. Minnesota. What are we doing,
with the Hitmen all season. I'm not going to abandon them now. I think that Greg Schiano hasn't gone in the right direction. Some games have not gone the way of the the Jersey Knights, but I'm going to roll with them this one. They
Jersey
take down
Knights.
the Gophers.
The Gophers can run the ball, and they can play some solid defense. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair. I'm going to lean Minnesota in this game. They're not going to win by the 6.5, but they're going to get the outright win. All right, number 8, the Holy War. Now, this should be a top 3 game, but it's not because Utah is dog shit, rotten, awful. So, number 9, BYU takes on Utah at 9:15 on the ESPN. BYU is a 4.5-point favorite. I think they should be like a 14.5-point favorite on this one. I'm actually leaning BYU to win this thing by multiple scores. Hunter, what do you think?
I mean, BYU is going to beat Utah so bad they're going to take beer out of the stadium.
Gotcha. All right, at number 7, before any other derogatory terms fall out, Michigan at number 8, Indiana, 2:30 p.m. on CBS. Indiana's a 14-point favorite. They play well. This is a good measuring stick for a lot of people in America to see what Indiana can do against Michigan. Now, if they come out and they lay an egg, not gonna look good. But if they come out and they look Ishkanish good, could be a sign of things to come.
I've been probably the biggest Indiana truther on this podcast, maybe even in a lot of circles, because I believe in what Kurt Cignetti is as a coach. I think he's a great coach. I'm not going to turn away from them now. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I think Michigan found what their offense is against Oregon because they could move the ball. I mean, the quarterback situation seems to have sorted itself out now. We'll see how it goes from here.
14 is a lot of points to make.
14 is a lot to beat Michigan by.
I think Indiana wins by probably 12. I'm kind of thinking 12.
I'm going to go with Indiana by 10.
Yeah.
I expect a good game, though.
All right, number 6, the Army at North Texas. I've talked about this game till I'm blue in the face. Let me hear your thoughts on this one.
With Bryson Day, Army will win. I expect this to be a high-scoring game. North Texas' defense isn't good enough to stop Army from scoring, but I don't think Army's defense is good enough to stop North Texas from scoring at a high rate either. But we'll see how that goes. I'm going to call it 42-35 Black Knights.
All right. The number 5 game of the week, the Lenora Cellar Gamecocks versus the Diego Pavia Commodores. South Carolina, number 24, Vanderbilt. Now, we're going off the AP ranking system, so if you're like, well, no, Missouri is number 24, well, you'd be right if you're following the CFP rankings, but we are going off the AP rankings because I prognosticate this on Sunday night, so I'm saying this is going to be one of them all-time classic, like, 24-21 games where it's going to come down to the last possession. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a few punts in this. There's going to be some upset moments here. Both these quarterbacks are tremendous athletes, very strong runners, the real strong guys. I think I'm going to give the edge to the Commodores. I know the Gamecocks are favored by 3.5, but I think the Commodores got a little magic in them. This game's at 3:15 p.m. on the SEC network, so you'll have to check your local listings for the game. Hunter, what are your thoughts on this one?
Took it right from me. I mean, Diego Pavia is just, he's got magic. You know what I mean? Like how Texas fans will always call what Oklahoma can pull off sometimes Sooner magic. I think you could say the same thing about Diego Pavia. I mean, he just does some magical things. Jerry Kill and Tim Beck put together a great offense. Clark Lee's defense is a well-designed defense. It's going to be a hard-fought game. I mean, when 2 spread option teams, power spread teams get to fight, play each other. I mean, they both beat the piss out of each other. But I like Vanderbilt to win it. I think that at home they're a tough team to beat.
All righty. The number 4 game of the week, the Miami Hurricanes, are number 4, take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets at 11 a.m. on ESPN. Now, this is kind of a rivalry game here. I don't think Georgia Tech's really going to have a whole lot for Miami. I think Miami's going to make enough mistakes to start the game that Georgia Tech will be in it till about midway through the second quarter, and then I think Miami will get that insurance score before heading in. They'll win the middle 8 is what we say. When you win the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. Miami's going to win that middle 8, and that's where the separation will come in. Cam Ward will kind of shake off some early mistakes, and then he'll go in there and he'll light it up. So I would look for Miami to win by probably more than the 11. I'd say 21. I think Miami crushes Georgia Tech.
This game kind of has me looking back to the Syracuse game for Georgia Tech, where they just couldn't stop the pass out of Kyle McCord, and now they're going up against probably the best passer in the whole country in Cam Ward. I mean, he's doing it with a staff of pass catchers that aren't heralded as like all-time great recruits.
Xavier Restrepo, though, it might be their best player they got, other than Cam Ward.
Xavier Restrepo is an excellent football player, but he's not, anyway. It's not like wasn't like a super highly ranked recruit was what I was trying to get at. Not one of those five-star freshmen that like Alabama or Texas are wheeling out or Ohio State's wheeling out. I mean, Cam Ward, I think this is where you kind of start to see him look for that Heisman separation, putting up like a 300 or 400 yard performance here. I think Miami blows out Georgia Tech by at least 3 or 4 scores. And I don't ever think the game is really ever going to be close.
All right, number 3, the number 21 Colorado Buffaloes at the upset-minded Texas Tech Red Raiders. 3 p.m. on Fox. Colorado's a 3-point favorite. Colorado has never experienced having batteries and frozen tortillas thrown at them or fluorescent light bulbs. And just remember, a frozen tortilla and a fluorescent light bulb disappear into the ground at the same rate and velocity. So keep that in mind when you see the fans throwing the tortillas on the field. This is going to be a hard game to play. The only good thing for Colorado is it's not just dead nuts at night. It's still just one of those games. It's kind of a toss-up game. I'm going to lean Red Raiders on this one for some odd reason. I'm picking against Deion. It means Colorado probably wins by 28 points, but I'm going to lean the Red Raiders here. I think they get the win by 7 actual points. Hunter.
I mean, this game kind of makes me think of the Nebraska game for Colorado, where they go into a very hostile environment. I mean, there's probably no environment in the Big 12 other than Ames, Iowa, more hostile than Lubbock, Texas.
No. I mean, like, you literally have to worry about your safety in Lubbock. In Ames, Iowa, it's just all talk coming from the stands. They're not really going to stab you in the parking lot. In Lubbock, when they say they're going to stab you in the parking lot, they mean it.
Yeah, and they don't throw D-cell batteries at you in Ames, Iowa. It's hard for me to pick against the Red Raiders here. I feel like they have a lot of momentum right now. And I think that this is kind of like if Jerry Maguire is going to be the long-term coach for the Red Raiders.
Joey Maguire. Jerry Maguire wants to.
I said Joey Maguire.
Yeah, you said Jerry Maguire. Let's just get this thing done as quick as possible.
He's going to get a big win here, I think.
Show me the money.
It's going to be a lot of points. Colorado's going to be in it up until the very end. But I'm going to go with the Red Raiders. I think they're surprised.
Colorado's definitely winning. We both picked the Red Raiders. Colorado's definitely winning.
Would I be surprised? No. I mean,
blowout fashion.
Colorado has exceeded expectations in every way this season. I don't think that that's an understatement at this point. Only their fans thought they would be anywhere near where they are at this point. It's going to come down to Travis Hunter can be the difference maker. I mean, Shadir's going to put up points, put guards no matter what, but so is Baron Morton. So it really is going to come down to what Travis Hunter can do.
He's gonna have to play some tremendous football on both sides because
the two key players, Travis Hunter,
Taj Brooks. Yeah, Taj Brooks. Oh, Taj Brooks looked really good last week. I mean, like really good.
I thought that he had kind of lost his edge as a running back, and he played like that against the best run defense in the Big 12. And I
almost wonder if he wasn't hurt most of the season. I wonder if he had like an ankle where he just didn't look explosive. You know what I mean? Like he tweaked it and he just didn't. And finally, he's starting to get healthy.
That could be the case. Like I said, I think Tech just has what it takes to win this game. If I'm wrong, I'm not worried about it. I'm not like a huge Colorado doubter. It's a toss-up to me. I'm just going with Tech because I know what Lubbock is. I know the people who go to Lubbock.
Yeah,
I've seen it before.
All right, number 2, number 11 Alabama at number 14 LSU. This is 6:30 p.m. on ABC. Alabama's a 2.5-point favorite. One of these teams is neither one of them are contenders, but one of them is a serious pretender, and that's the number 14 LSU Tigers. I don't think they stand a chance against Alabama. I think they lose on their home turf to Alabama, and they say 2.5 points. I'm saying 2.5 touchdowns is going to be the difference in this game. Hunter, what do you think?
I mean, LSU all season has struggled against heavy pass teams, and it's just going to probably be more of the same against Alabama. I mean, and also you talk about, well, LSU couldn't stop a running quarterback against A&M. You know, what does Alabama have? Well, they have Jalen Milroe, the best
They have the running quarterback.
They have a Jalen Milroe is a quarterback that can run. I mean, he's
but what is Jalen Milroe's best pass that he throws?
What's the deep ball? And
what is LSU's number one weakness?
The deep ball.
Okay, there you go.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, can we stop what they do well? No. Milroe can run when the pass isn't there, and when you go and you drop in the box to stop the pass, I mean, or stop the quarterback run, you're Ryan Williams, all 17 years old to him, and his veneers there.
He's got to be getting closer to 18, right? I mean, like,
I don't.
He's a day closer to 18 than he was yesterday. That's all I can tell you.
He must have the same birthday I do. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Alabama here in a blowout fashion. I don't see LSU having what it takes. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier has like thrown under 50% passing in like 3 straight games. At some point, it's gonna just lose you football games. You have to complete your passes. If it's for 5 yards, you know, every time you throw the ball, it's a lot better than completing under 50%, but you hit a bunch of deep shots.
All right.
Anyway, off my soapbox.
And then their final number 1 game of the week is the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs taking on the number 16 Ole Miss Rebels at 2:30 p.m. on ABC. And UGA is favored by 2.5 points. I'm thinking here that if Carson Beck makes those interceptions like he's been doing, and Georgia refuses to run the football with Travis Etienne, I'm thinking Ole Miss is going to beat him at home. You cannot go and play like that many times. Now, I know they had a little hangover game after beating Texas, you know, and climbing up on top of the mountain again, but you know, you play as bad as you played last week against Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is going to knock the lights out. So I think that Jackson Dart will be able to escape. He's seen what Georgia does. He's a seasoned veteran SEC quarterback. He's not a guy that's going to light it up to the next level, but he's also not a guy that's going to get tricked and fooled by any defenses that he sees. But if Carson Beck has 3 turnovers, I would look for Ole Miss to win by a touchdown.
I say this flatly. We do this every year. Oh, Ole Miss looks great. Their offense is hitting. Their defense is finding its stride. Georgia's looked weak. And Georgia comes out and beats the shit out of Ole Miss. It's going to happen again this year. We talked up Ole Miss and all this. They're going to come in. We do this every year. Pundits across the country, college football, anything. Do this across the country. Oh, Ole Miss, you know, this.
There's other college football shows than this one?
Yeah. Georgia, you know, we do this every year. Georgia is going to beat Ole Miss. There's nothing about this that I see that doesn't happen.
All right, and that's going to wrap up the ones to watch. And we're going to head into the final segment of this fine broadcast here with the 2-minute warning. And you're going to get to hear our contenders, pretenders, our bold prediction, and our game of the WEAK. Game of the week. I say our contender, the number 18 Indiana Hoosiers. They're going to continue to roll up W's, if you know what I'm talking about. And they're going to have a big week on the ground here. They're going to pond the shit out of Michigan easily. My pretender is Penn State. They gave away a game they should have won at home against Ohio State. I don't really think Ohio State's all that great of a team. I don't think Penn State's a very good team. I think they would struggle, both of them, mightily against the Orgeron Ducks, which we've already seen some of this game here. So I would say pretender, Penn State, Nittany Lion. My bold prediction is that we will not be disappointed in our games if we cheer for the winner. That's my bold prediction. I had to steal a little bit from Lindsay. I didn't tell an elaborate story, but I had a bold prediction. All right, my game of the week, the WEAK is Oklahoma at Missouri, 6:45 p.m. on the SEC Network. Missouri's favored by 1.5 points. I think Oklahoma beats Missouri, but it's not going to look good. It's going to be one of these discombobulated, tons of turnovers, tons of mistakes by both teams. Both these teams are mistake ridden, and I don't care if it's Brady Cook, Drew Pine. They don't get the ball to Luther Burden, and when they do, Luther Burden is nowhere near in the right position on the field to be catching the pass. He's catching the pass and like triple over coverage over the top of him, and so he just doesn't do a whole lot, and he looks pretty small compared to a lot of defenders. I think Missouri's way underperformed this year. Oklahoma's been struck by the injury bug, I think, but also I think the coaching bug might have caught them too. So, anyways, I'm going OU, but I'm not going to go by much. So OU gets the W. And that is Cass's side of the 2-minute warning. Hunter, what do you got on the 2-minute warning?
My contender's gonna be Miami, or really Cam Ward. I mean, the guy is putting up insane numbers. He's already broken a couple of different Miami passing records in his first single season. I think that's going to continue. Pretender, kind of just gonna roll with my pretender being the same as yours there with Penn State. Really James Franklin. It's kind of like he's basically just Mac Brown for Penn. He's Penn State's Mac Brown, right? Like the criticism levied against Mac Brown is he can never win the big game. He's a great coach, and you're going to win 8, 9, or you're going to win 9, 10 games a year, but you're never going to win the big game. I think that's kind of what James Franklin is to Penn State. Bold prediction: Georgia will beat Ole Miss by 24 plus points. And my game of the week is, like you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, FAU against East Carolina. I mean, East Carolina's already fired their coach. FAU's coach made an ass of himself on national television for not the first time in his career.
But it might be the last at FAU. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, he's a coach I had a lot of respect for at one point, and I think that it's kind of like, I think it's kind of similar situation across the country for a lot of people. It's kind of going the way because of certain actions. So yeah, game of the week. It's not going to be an exciting game. I think East Carolina's going to dominate, and that we'll see what goes.
And that is the show. With only 2 of us, we still ran it at like 47 minutes. So
we talked too much, I guess, or I talked too much. I don't know.
It's all right. It's fine. But we're going to wrap it up now because I am very tired. Hunter is very tired. Let's put you in solo layout so you can say your goodbyes.
Go Navy. Beat USF. Hook 'em horns or something. And eat 'em up cats. And shoot down the Warhawks.
All right. I want to thank everybody for watching this show. It sucks that we did get Jude on. Hopefully Jude can either be in the premiere or he can throw some stuff up here before this video debuts, or he can throw it right up afterwards. But anyways, we're missing Jude. We're missing Lindsay. Next week, we'll have a full crew. We're getting into week 12. Can you believe that? Week number 12. But been a real blast so far this season. I really enjoyed doing this podcast every week, or this show every week. I got the 3 best co-hosts anyone could ask for, and we got the best viewers out there. So if you viewed this video and you like it, hit that thumbs up, and just like to say thanks for watching. Oh wait, hold on, we got an outro to this thing. Oh, remember, the team that scores the most points always wins the game. Thanks for watching.